Hey there guys, welcome back to another video. And wow, what a difference one football match makes, what a difference 90 minutes makes, what a difference systems and formations make, and a commitment and aggression on the front foot, football team that's playing out the skin from minute 1 to minute 90. I could not knock the lads. They took every incentive, like I said, after the Manchester City game, winning 2-1 in the second half. It was absolutely fantastic from the boys. They've carried it out. The game plan worked a treat. Enzo Maresca, the Chelsea manager, did not have a clue how to take Daniel's team in terms of the setup, whether they go with the 4-3-3 or whether they go with the 3-5-2, and it came off really well. I must admit, I was very nervous going into it. There were lots of talk as we spoke to the supporters before the match that Daniel might go. There were mentions of Gary O'Neill coming in. Well, I think for now that almost quietens itself down. It starts to mellow a little bit, the talk around that. You know, Daniel's come up with the goods. Better late than never, as they call it. And the team were absolutely fantastic. What I did really like from Leeds was the commitment levels. You know, I thought Leeds offered a lot more going forward than Chelsea. They only had 28.8% of the ball throughout the match, and it was credit to Leeds. That's one of the highest XGs I've ever seen with such little possession on the ball. But their off the ball work was fantastic as well. You know, you've seen the commitment levels from Jacobiol, Joe Rodon every week. Pascal Strout played really well. The midfield were at it. You know, Tanaka had his best game of the season. We've spoke about in previous episodes the fact that we needed to see Tanaka more. You know, he needed that form back. He needed to re-galvanise himself and come back into the side. And the only way to do it is playing him. And Daniel has finally fulfilled that, and he's brought him in. And even the substitutes, to a degree, were done at decent times. I felt maybe they could have been on slightly earlier, but it's not a criticism I'm prepared to throw at Daniel after what can only be described as a remarkable performance. In terms of the width side of things, you know, my teams that I like to watch, I like them to play with width. I still thought Goodmanson did that, and Bogle were terrific going forward. You know, they managed to counteract and balance it well. Just thought Bogle just slightly struggled when Chelsea made that change when Garnacho came on. But to be honest, Leeds got stuck in. They were putting people in the air. Ampadu was absolutely fantastic. Captain Marvel, you know, he was absolutely unbelievable at times, especially against Enzo Fernandez. As soon as Leeds were letting Chelsea know early doors that they were going to be getting stuck in, and you're not going to have an easy task today, Chelsea. It was very much in Leeds' hands, I thought, for most of it. You know, they've got a very young group, come up against a hostile atmosphere. You know, the fans made the ground an absolute fortress like I've never seen for a long time. It was a proper dogfight out there, you know, and everything, all the ingredients that were needed for a real classic Leeds United against Chelsea rivalry back in the Premier League again. And once more, it was a revelation to watch, and I was absolutely delighted with the score and with the performance that came with it, that warranted another 3 points against Enzo Maresca. You know, so it's vital that Leeds keep going in this direction now. You know, they've got another tough game at the weekend, which is one I think now, after the last one game and a half, I'm going to give them that half against City, that they've got to take in. The spirit should be high. The players know the task is going to be difficult. Doesn't matter whether they're in form or not. You know, they've got a lot of class within that side, and it's going to be an intriguing watch. I'm hoping that we can manage to go again, because I don't see how teams can break that system down. You know, you've got Pascal, you've got Joe at the back, you've got Xhaka, all 6'3" and above. So we've got some real powerhouses in there, and it's about Leeds adapting and using them tools proactively again, and Daniel sticking to the system. I think it's got a longevity about it. I think the system can prevail and keep going, and it's something that I'd like to see more often now. I think it's shown it works. Just a quick one, guys. I just want to thank everybody for the support over the videos that we've done, the episodes that have passed and gone. make sure to comment, make sure to like, and follow the page lscnews.co.uk. We also are on YouTube, we're on Instagram, and all the pages are on social media, not excluding X as well. It's remembering them all. That's the hardest part, to be honest with you. And yeah, if you can check that out after this episode was finished, that would be great. And please comment on the video and give me your thoughts against Chelsea, which is a late show because I've been on nights and I've only just really managed to get down and to onto this. And please leave a like. Always appreciated from you guys. Top supporters, the best supporters in the land, Leeds United. And as shown again at the weekend, it was just unbelievable. It does make your hairs on your neck stand because you're in the ground, you feel the atmosphere, marching on together comes on, and you felt before the game. I had a sneaky feeling that we'd come out with a positive end to it, and that's what we did. And we're going to really try and break this down today and see which areas we can really get at with Liverpool and having that balance. You know, the word balance gets spoken about so much, but Leeds do have balance, you know, between getting forward, catching out mistakes at the back. You know, Enzo, I don't get the whole thing around passing out from the back. It does not make sense to me a lot of the time. Teams like to do it to try and open a gap and wait for something, but I think when Leeds are built and in this solid system that they are right now, I struggle to see how teams are going to get round us. My only one concern is set pieces to give away, but I still think we've got some really good assets to make sure that we don't concede them. Number two is the cut when basically the wing backs get beat. So Bogle and Goodmanson, how easy it is to get round them. But then the second phase of that is when the ball's coming into the box. The amount of free bodies at times is something that Leeds, I hope, are working on. You know, because I know Bogle not necessarily gets the amount of support that he'll need in this system due to the fact that there's no wingers on the pitch for Leeds. And it's very difficult for him to be supported down those sides. But, you know, having said that, I'm not complaining. I thought Bogle had a smashing game. And I felt he got it right more times than not against Chelsea. Ampadu's a colossal giant, you know, someone that's only 5'10", I believe. Was absolutely instrumental throughout the match. Completely controlled the midfield. Tanaka, absolutely amazing. The goal that he took so well. I mean, he just teed up so nicely. His first touch gave him that opportunity to get it out with his feet as quick as he did. And being Ao Tanaka, just something that you just never expect. And he is basically the unexpected guy. Coming from Dusseldorf for just only 3 million, you know, last year, he is coming to this side and he's been absolutely fantastic. And it's something that you want to see constantly now. You want to see your Ao Tanakas in there, your Anton Stacks within the team because they're fantastic players. And I keep mentioning fantastic because it's very difficult to describe it any other way. But it's a physical presence, there's a technical quality in that midfield. And that there's an adaptation as well that I love from Leeds. I just felt that there was a real opportunity against Chelsea because they're a team that like to get wound up quite easily. They're a young, naive group, and Leeds took full advantage of that throughout the match. You know, you look at the way that we pressed and the way that we managed to get straight back into position. The out of possession setup was awesome. You know, I could not complain one Scooby-Doo. And it was incredible the way that the boys got themselves back in and managed to impose themselves still, but not leave any gaps for Chelsea to potentially get into. Now, it started to stretch the game, I felt, in the second half more than it did in the first against Leeds. But it wasn't something that I was particularly worried about. They never looked like they were going to score all night. Now, had it not been for Perry, I felt it was a disappointing attempt at saving it when it's so close to his near post. You know, I just felt that he could have maybe stopped that and made himself big. You know, he's a giant in goal. A lot more musclier than Melian. He should be able to take players to the cleaners when he's coming for balls or trying to save and make himself big. But I think the jury's still out on Perry. For me, my first choice would be Caldialo. I'd be so. I've got a strong feeling on whether or not he should come back in. I think for me, he should. We will have to see in the coming games whether Daniel decides to take that route. But because they've paid such a big fee for a goalkeeper, I think 15 million is quite an excessive fee. It's not over the amounts, but it's still a good price for that position, and they're going to want to make it work based on his stats away from Leeds when he's been at Lyon and other clubs. He's been absolutely fantastic for teams, but unfortunately, so far for Leeds, it's not gone quite well, and it's something that Leeds will have to assess going forward. And I think that there's going to have to be a closer eye with the goalkeeper coach when they're doing the training drills, what they're actually doing, because I'm not seeing a great deal. I never saw much from Melier under Ed Wootton, who's the current keeper coach, and I'm not seeing a great deal now from Perry. Both of them have gone backwards under his leadership with that goalkeeper team. So, yeah, that's one to keep an eye on for me. But onto the situation then, the team. Looking forward, it was an incredible day, and I felt that Leeds really got at Chelsea. In a team that's in the top four, we can't look away from that. That's a team that's completely outclassing a lot of sides. Managed to hold Arsenal, who are currently a top of the league and have only lost one football match all season, to a 1-1 draw with 10 men. Now, obviously, Caicedo adds their depths of quality into their team. But, I thought that with our midfield, with Ampadu, Stack and Tanaka, I thought that they had them in the back pocket. They went into their changing room at half-time and full-time, and they got their wallet. They looked in their back pockets. They got the wallets out. They got the keys out, and they got Enzo Fernandez out. And it was a joy to watch. He was just getting so wound up. I'd love to hear your guys' comments on this, because he was so rattled for most of the match. Thought the body language as well. If I was managing a player like that, and the body language, watching him pass the ball because of the frustration, I'd be more angrier than anything, because he completely lost the plot. And his experience should show better than that, especially for such a young group around him. You want some leaders, you want influencers, and they couldn't fulfil that. And I hope that the London papers had all that in. Leeds United beating Chelsea 3-1. And also a shout out to Jason Cundy and all. He's gone very quiet on TalkSport. Very interesting. He's not coming out of the old locker now. And he hopes Leeds get relegated to League One, which was also very intriguing. Sounds again just like the players. The fans are also extremely rattled, and that is content I love to see. So I'm more for it as well. So I'm guessing that there won't be his usual spiel that he comes out with on TalkSport when he does. I don't know what you really call it. His chat show with Jamie O'Hara, where he goes, "Has anybody seen blah, blah, blah?" And they took one hell of a beating. Well, yes, Chelsea did take one hell of a beating. So we'll keep an eye on that coming up. But yeah, guys, we're going to look forward to Liverpool now. We're going to get stuck into that. So in terms of what to expect, well, I must admit, I am expecting the unexpected. I think that Liverpool are going to have to really come at Leeds and try and break them down. I expect lots of width. I think that they're going to go really wide. The likes of Mo Salah. You're going to have Wirtz in the middle of the cam, and then probably Cody Gakpo on the left. But I expect their fullbacks to be really high pressing. I think there's going to be a lot of overloads to deal with, especially having analysed the game against Chelsea, where they didn't take advantage as much as probably what they could have done. I'm expecting, likes of Kirkes and Frimpong to be really pushing up with the wingers and almost playing as right mids. But you have to look at the counteract of that now. So when Leeds pick off the ball and are in formation and are completely suited to their game and to the way that we play and the pragmatism, I'm completely expecting Leeds to really push at them. When we get that chance to counter, we have to go for it. But talking of counter attacks and going forward, you know, we've also heard about Lucas Mecha. He's currently struggling with a calf injury, I believe, or hamstring. It's one of the two, and so is Calvert-Lewin. So between them, there's some sort of strain. I don't know if it's a tactical thing from Fat, but given their injury-prone record, it is very unlikely that it's a bit of a hoax and a bit of match playing with Arne Slot to see if they analyse anything too differently. But they are currently under assessment and will require a fitness test going into the Liverpool game. So that's in terms of an injury update. We've obviously got Dan James out now for 8 weeks, so we've lost that bit of pace, and we've also got Longstaff out, who will miss, I think it's 6 weeks as well, 6 to 8 weeks. So, you know, we are suffering a little bit, but we're plodding along, and that's what we want to see from Leeds. You know, as long as they keep that commitment, that fight, nobody will complain. Every supporter that was in that stadium, and to be honest, the photo that's in the background, I might actually be in, to be honest. That's the stand that I sit in with my season ticket. But yeah, I mean, the Jack Beal header as well. I mean, if we can see a bit more of that against Chelsea, against Liverpool, taking some of those chances from set pieces, that is what this system's all about. All these players we brought in the summer, you know, Sebastian Bornau, who's going to be on the bench, ready to go if he needs to, Jakobiol, Joe Rodon, Pascal Strout, Anton Stack, who usually takes set pieces, which I'm hoping we can come away from. I think he needs to be complete. He needs to be in the box. That aerial threat's going to be massive going forward for Leeds. And whether or not Daniel chooses to do that, I don't know. But there needs to be a better corner taker so that we can take more advantage. But the way Xhaka got away from Liam Delap, which you can see in the current background photo, was absolutely incredible. He just came out of nowhere, and you almost thought that there was a bit of a "I can believe I can fly" and touch the sky, which Xhaka literally did. And Robert Sanchez had no chance, absolutely no chance with the goal. I thought it was a very well taken header, and to be honest, the sort of power and the precision that he put on that header was just incredible, and the celebration was warranted too. It was an incredible moment for Xhaka to get his first goal, get a little bit of confidence and self belief, and feel the Leeds United passion going forward. So that was awesome for him. And then just taking a look at the rest of the goals too. Tanaka's was obviously, which we've spoken about, touched on, was awesome. Takes the ball, gives himself a lovely yard or two, and just hits it like a bullet. I mean, if you blink, you've missed it. You know, so expecting the keeper to reach out to that was non-negotiable. He was never going to stop that. I don't think two keepers would have managed to either. So it was an interesting one. And then the third goal comes again from a tactical base. I don't get. And you can watch Big Sam. People almost look at Big Sam and say, he doesn't know it. He's one of the best managers this country's ever seen for me. I love Big Sam. And I'd have been proud. I think he'd have been proud of Daniel for the way he's changed things. And it's not a negative. People think by playing 5-3-2, 3-5-2, it's a negative and a team that's almost not good enough to do anything else. It's not. We are well suited to this role, to this system, that we can play against most teams and they won't be able to break us down. Can do as much tactical base on it and go for it, but it only backfires on them. So, you know, it's something that we have to adapt to now. We're a team we are sort of in that relegation scrap. It's very early days to talk like that, but we are in and amongst it. And there's other teams that are going to get dragged into it. If we beat or get anything out of the Liverpool game, then go on to Brentford and win as well, then I'm completely expecting, Brentford to get sucked in. Bournemouth, they don't seem to have moved off 18, 19 points for some time now. They seem to be very much in that. They went top of the league with 18 points and now are completely cascading down the league. So I'm thinking to myself, they're another team that are starting to be a bit found out because they've sold a lot of players. I think three of their back four got sold in the summer, such as Kirkes, and they lost a few players. So they're now in that situation where they're struggling a little bit. So it's going to be interesting, the games coming up against your Brentfords, against your Crystal Palace, who have got a lot of fixtures to come as well. Sunderland have obviously, they should by then have lost Diarra and Siddiqui and a couple of others to AFCON nations. So that's another team that are going to be stretching their squad a little bit. So I think it's all to play for. There's lots for Leeds to really get the teeth into this month and to hopefully get some points. We need injuries to be at an all-time low. We can't afford to be getting any more injuries really than what we got. I think we're starting to stretch a little bit. But, you know, I believe Okafor will come in at the weekend. I keep going on about his fitness, and I'm still going to do as well. I still don't think it's quite there for me yet. And it's obviously a problematic issue. You know, the lad's got a lot of quality. I think he has got pace at times. It's quite deceiving when he beats his man and gets round to the byline. The crossing side needs to improve, but I think if he's given his chance up top like he did, he pressed them when Gusto passed it to Adarabayo, and he was first, and his instinctiveness got himself into the position to get it off Mr. Sanchez in goal and basically give Calvert-Lewin the easiest finish of his life. So, you know, teams are going to play out from the back. They're so obsessed with it. The obsession behind this playing out from the back and playing square passes is just crazy. I've never known anything more ridiculous in my life, but that's fine. Let them get on with that. We'll just try and take advantage of those situations when they arrive, because they will arrive, and we'll score some really nice, easy goals this season if we keep playing this system. I think it'll work for the long term, if I'm honest, and it'll certainly see us out of this season. And there's nothing wrong with making a couple of tweaks, but I think right now I'd completely stick with it. Nothing to change. Pre-match analysis with the group. Go again. Do everything as much as you can. Correct a couple of basics. Try not to lay off the man as much, is what I'd like to say to some of them, especially my two fullbacks, Gabriel Goodmanson and Jayden Bogle. I'd like them to just not give themselves away too much and give them an opportunity so that they buy them as quick as anything. But don't let it get to a point where it's coming towards the box now and they're going to take them on. Have a go, just to get a tackle and try and put a leg in. Because I think backing off occasionally isn't too bad, because you're waiting for that support of your teammate to come and arrive, but it doesn't always come. So you've sometimes got to commit and be a little bit more, showing a bit of aggression, not too excessively, but, you know, try and commit yourself a little bit more than what they do. Because some of these players, like your Garnacho, Estevao that played, Gakpo coming up, Salah, I mean, they won't give you that opportunity too often, and Leeds have just got to watch for that. It's things that can be worked on, but the general performance is improving, and that's the only thing I ask of the group. And Daniel to be pragmatic, like he has been in the last game. He's left it till the death. I mean, the board have already come out and basically, you know, they've had I believe, allegedly, they've had a meeting, and I don't see convincing sounds coming out of those meetings either. So it's something that, you know, Daniel's still under an amount of pressure that's unbelievable. I believe that result basically saved his job, to be honest, because there's only so long you can go with performances and basically saying, well, we've played well, but there's nothing to show for it. You know, Daniel's aiming for a point per game basis. It's not what I like. I don't like going like that. So we are currently at that 14 out of 14, but the magic number will always be 40. So regardless of what happens, whether it's 35 to keep you up, your magic number is your magic number, and that's 40 points. So it's incredibly important Leeds try and aim for that, rather than going for this point per game basis thing that Daniel's set the group up to aim for. But I can't argue with it. I think the substitutes were a lot better again. He still can't help himself though, can he? Wait until the 70th minute to make that change. I still think that some games it's going to cost him, because he's obviously not going to change that style too often, because, you know, bringing Gruev on for the midfield, they're putting a lot of physical outputs into these games. So it's incredibly important with freshening things up against the top boys. And I believe that the Chelsea game was the second most output Leeds have put in since Daniel arrived. I could be wrong, but it's definitely a top ratio in terms of that side of things. But yeah, completely convinced by that performance. It's just whether or not we can make sure we can carry on. You look at Sunderland, for instance, they had a really good season so far. Spent a lot of money. You know, they've probably done things a little bit different to us. They've had a bit more pull. Took a couple of potential signings that we should have had. So it's important now that come January we are ready to go into that market and we go for it. But not too aggressively. I don't want an aggressive January market where there's lots of changes to be made. It is very much bringing in quality more than what we've got now. So, you know, you're looking at your striker partnerships in Metcher and Calvert-Lewin. You know, they're both respectively. Calvert-Lewin's now got 3 for the season, and I believe then Metcher's got 4. So I think that's a good return so far. I think both should be aiming for 10. 10 goals would be a really good achievement, I think, in this sort of side come the end of the season. And I believe it will keep Leeds up in the end if they can prevail, if they can keep going. That's the most important part. But yeah, guys, if you can get some comments in, give me your thoughts on the game against Chelsea and what we have to come at Elland Road. So exciting. I love Leeds United is one of the biggest football clubs. It's an institution. You know, so when these games come around, which haven't been very often, you know, especially in my lifetime, but when they come around, and especially if you can get something out of them, a win, it just tops, it makes your week, and you go to work every week and you want to enjoy yourself. When you go into work, you've got a smile on your face when you see the team give as much as what they did on Wednesday night, and if you can see that again on Saturday evening, well, it really does. It makes those Sunday blues feel a bit, or Monday blues feel a little bit less bluey, if you like. So yeah, and you know, the mentality of the group can't be questioned now. They have set that standard which they have to follow up on every week. If every player plays commitment-wise at 7 out of 10, you know, every single player, then the result will not be far away. You know, it's just cutting out elementary errors for me. That's all it is. It's just small, tiny errors that Leeds make that are quite crucial. You know, it can't be forgotten. They're absolutely massive in this league. It's brutal, it's relentless, and it's unforgiving. And it's something that Leeds will get used to. They're going to have to if they want to stay up. But I'm extremely confident that Leeds will stay up if they can continue in the way and follow the patterns that they're currently doing. So it's just now a case of Daniel, stick to the routine, get everybody together, keep it a fortress within the group. You're always going to have questions asked of you every time. You're the Leeds manager. You've admitted that yourself. So, you know, let's fingers crossed that we can carry on this rhythm now, and this little bit of momentum we're starting to create. Because I haven't questioned a lot of the performances. There's times where against Brighton, I was disappointed because I didn't see a Leeds team there, an aggressive output, and a team that looked like they wanted to win a football match. Against Nottingham Forest as well. They're the 2 main ones for me where I just didn't see it. But other than that, the performance on a whole have been really good. I can't really complain too much. It's just been a case of naivety and a bit of a soft touch at times that I've seen from Leeds. But yeah, other than that, it's been very good. Mark Humphreys, thumbs up, fingers crossed. 2 right, mate. And there's no words there. There's 2 emojis, and they mean very much a big deal to everyone. And thank you very much for your comment, Mark. But yeah, Mark, give me your thoughts, mate, on what you thought to the game on Wednesday, not at the weekend, and what you think's going to happen at the weekend too. Score predictions as well, guys. Please get them all in. Let's have a really good time. We've not got too long left. I've just had a look, so we're gonna keep going. You know, we're gonna keep going and see how we get on. But one thing I found interesting, especially from the Chelsea match, was the fact that he did go 2 up top. So he went with Liam Delap and he went with João Pedro. And I must admit, there was only one chance in the second half that Liam Delap really got, which you know, it was on a bit of a cross angle, and he put it wide. I think he put it into the side net. And to be honest, you wouldn't have even questioned if it were a shot or whether if it was a cross or not, because he just didn't really He didn't add anything to Chelsea's team. None of them looked interested. As soon as Leeds started putting the boot in a little bit and were being aggressive and on the front foot, they didn't want to know. And if you attack and ask questions of these teams, they're all a little bit, oh gosh, I haven't seen this one before, and tactically inept them. So I'm not surprised Enzo's not got any hair, because he's probably pulled half of it out since being at Chelsea. And another point I'd like to make was the amount of buses Chelsea brought. Now, I know they've got a massive group, but 3 buses. I mean, seriously, I've never known something so ridiculous. I've regularly see 2 from Premier League clubs. Probably Manchester City might also bring 3, but let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. I know it's something so petty, but it sort of shows what Chelsea are right now. They just go out, they have been giving players 6 and 7 year deals to help them on PSR, and it's completely against the fair play rules. And that's why I believe it's getting addressed. It certainly is in the summer, and it will be changing. And that will be another episode to come in the future where we're probably going to speak about that and what it will mean if Leeds United are a Premier League club, or should I say when, next season. Right on the money, mate. Thank you very much, Mark. Great to have you in, mate. Thanks very much. Let's do the same to Liverpool. Absolutely, matey. And that's it. If Leeds can, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. They're not in form, but we know what threats they impose to us. We know that they've got some top players within that too. And we also know that realistically, they're in a false position, that a team that's out of form, you have to question everything. The turnover of players they've had, got some top quality in, but you do break that core group when you start to sell and to let people go and bring others in. I mean, removing Andy Robertson from the team, I'm surprised by that. I thought it'd be a much smoother transition to Kirkes, but he's obviously just chucked him straight in. It doesn't always work, and it's the one thing that I do think to myself, wow, you just broke a core group up that's just won you the Premier League. So they've got their issues, and not forgetting obviously the sad passing of Diogo Jota. That's obviously probably had a massive impact. It's very rare that happens, obviously, and walking into a group, as a new player into a group that's just suffered a teammate that's obviously lost his life must be extremely challenging, and under those circumstances, obviously, very sad. And I wish Diogo's family and friends, the very best, because it was one of my favourite footballers that's come to Leeds in a Wolves and Liverpool shirt. It was fantastic, and I think they are truly missing him in every way right now. Thank you very much, Mark. Brilliant analysis. I much appreciate them comments. Anything you want in the future episodes, guys. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get a couple of visuals on a tactical basis. A couple of apps I've been looking at. It's just understanding StreamYard for me a little bit. I'm not the most technical person, so I'm gonna be having a little dive into all that, and we can really digress it properly, and I can give you hopefully some really in-depth analysis on Leeds United. But I think the analysis is all there to see right now. A team that's fighting, a team that's aggressive on the front foot, a team that wants to win, a team that's playing for each other. They're going in as packs. Ironically, packs of Wolves. Wolves are currently bottom with no wins. May I add? Good decision, Rob Edwards. But yeah, you've got to hunt in packs. When it's a group, when it's a team effort, when you're playing a system like this, you have to be in packs every time. Your top players that you're coming up against, not going to be just necessarily one player on one. You have to double up, you have to treble up, and sometimes just to stop that root cause of what potentially can come at you, it's incredibly important. And I'm happy that there were signs of that, and a team that looked very much together. A team that's reacting to the tactical elements Daniel's implementing, which is also very key for Daniel, because obviously he's under pressure right now. And I hope he gets through it. I hope that now he's lost that little tiny bit of stubbornness that we have all seen, and it has been prevailing for a long period of time. And he cuts it right at the death. We spoke about earlier in the video. He cuts it right at the death to make that change. And ultimately, I don't think he'd be in the dugout on Saturday if he hadn't have done that, and I don't believe he would be the Leeds United manager. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see. But having said all that, thank you very much, guys, for watching. I'd also like to just give a little shout out and an honourable mention to a huge Leeds United fan that's passed away, called Eddie Fozzard, a completely admirable bloke, really loving character, huge Leeds United fan, season ticket holder for many, many years within the club. And, you know, he had a really good send-off today. And I wish everyone, including Lynn, Kyle, and his family and friends, the very best. And again, Eddie Fozzard, you will not be forgotten, mate. Well within the soul of Leeds United. And that win was, I certainly wanted to dedicate that to Eddie on Wednesday. A great human being, and will be sadly missed. And on that note, guys, thank you very much for watching. It's always a pleasure doing these videos and episodes. And I will see you in the next one with more live coverage. Thank you very much, and marching on together.